Hi, it's Ileana, and today I am looking at remote viewing 3i Atlas. And this report was created by John Adams, who is a remote viewer. And I believe he was the one that was part of a team of remote viewers that were tasked in a blind remote viewing to remote view 3i Atlas. And afterwards, John uploaded their results of the remote viewing team, what they found on 3i Atlas. And this was posted originally August 20th and updated as recently as September 5th, 2025. And I done a blind remote viewing of 3i Atlas as well. So in my remote viewings, it came up as being artificial, being a craft, being like a seed vault that seeds life. And the craft has DNA banks and genome banks. Sometimes it has crew and sometimes it doesn't, depending on what the craft is doing for missions. So that's what came up in my remote viewings. And there was the date of 2023 when this interstellar object was officially discovered. It was said publicly it was discovered in 2025, but what I got was 2023 in my remote viewing, so I did do a second remote viewing on it to see dates, like when was it really discovered, and I got 2023 still, but kind of like the official reveal date that it was just discovered in 2025. So there was some cover up about the findings and when this object was truly found. There had been a secret space mission that was classified in 2023 of what they found this object to be. And it's not a comet. It is truly a interstellar craft that is a combination of a probe that probes various planets to see which are seeded with life forms and which are not, to find appropriate seeding places where you could seed life and terraform planets, because that's what it's one of its primary missions is what the remote viewing showed me. And it also records telemetry on what happens on different planets and how far the planets are ascending dimensionally and the beings on them. And it records that information. So it keeps track of evolution and ascension. And sometimes it has crew on this craft. The crew is activated and created from the seed vaults that are on this craft, and they help to do the project work of seeding life forms. But for the most part, this interstellar craft is run by sentient AI systems that have autonomous capacity of thinking and making decisions. And when a crew is needed, the crew is there. If the crew is not active. Sometimes they're in stasis on the craft, sometimes they're not on the craft. So it all depends what the mission is that this craft is performing, the functions. So it is self-autonomous. Sometimes there is crew and sometimes there's not. So those were the findings that I had from my remote viewing in life forms. I did pick up signatures of life forms. Pleiadians, Andromedans, Arcturians, reptilians, and also recently Lyrans in the third remote viewing that I did. And these life forms can all be seeded from the genetic vault, from the seed vault on other planets. And I'm sure there's other species of life forms that can be seeded. And I think has a mixed crew when there is a crew of different life forms and species. So that's what the third remote viewing showed. So this is the preface of what my remote viewing revealed. The first target was totally blind. The other two were probing targets that I knew already what the subject matter was. So it's like more like open-ended targets to find more info. The first target was totally blind. I had no idea I was remote viewing 3I Atlas, but I needed to do further probing on the dates, why there was both like 2023 and 2025 showing up in my original remote viewing. And the other question was about species and what these seed vaults do and what the craft functionality is more of. And so that's why I did the other two remote viewings. So today we're going to look at specifically the remote viewing of what John Adams reveals here and what the remote viewing team found out. So we're going to start with the introduction. 3I Atlas is the third confirmed interstellar object discovered according to NASA. It is classified as an interstellar comet because its orbit is hyperbolic, indicating it is not gravitationally bound to our sun and is merely passing through our solar system. Some astronomers have highlighted unusual characteristics of 3I Atlas that have sparked debate about its true nature. Size. Initial estimates of 3I Atlas suggested it could be up to 12 miles, 20 kilometers across, making it significantly larger than the previously discovered interstellar objects, Ileana and 21 Borisov. Now, my remote viewing of 3I Atlas, when I was doing that probe, I got information that Ileana, that this is also a craft, like a probe, that takes telemetry of planets and stuff, and that 21 Borisov is not an actual craft. It's not artificially made. So that came up in my remote viewing as well of 3I Atlas in combination. So I just wanted to preface that. However, later observations and analysis of the object's brightness led some scientists to suggest a smaller nucleus enveloped by a coma, making their overall size estimate more consistent with other interstellar objects. While 3I Atlas exhibits cometary activity, a fuzzy coma, and potential tail, some observations show a lack of strong spectral signatures for gases typically associated with comets. This has led to discussion about whether other mechanisms might be causing the dust release. The object's highly energetic trajectory and inclination, traveling almost perpendicular to the plane of our solar system, coupled with its close passage with three planets in our solar system, Jupiter, Mars, Venus, in close passage behind the sun from our vantage point, is described as unnatural and potentially indicative of a unique origin or ejection event. So, what I had discovered in the first blind remote viewing of 3I Atlas, it doesn't have typical propulsion systems. It has more of crystalline type propulsion and plasma propulsion. And these kind of power rings that power it with plasma and crystalline technologies. That's what I found in my remote viewing, what powers it. What is its internal propulsion system? It doesn't have propellant, it doesn't have fuel. It's not a traditional craft as what humans do in space programs in current 3D reality. This is different exotic propulsion. John goes on to say this: I assigned 6 remote viewers to investigate the nature of the phenomenon. The findings were quite intriguing, but I advise everyone to approach the results with calmness and skepticism, as various possibilities could still explain this object and the data. As always, we simply follow the data. What my remote viewing showed is that the interstellar object that is 3I Atlas, it masks itself what looks like a comet through telemetry of telescopes, but it's not a comet. It is a sophisticated craft. So on the outside, it looks like an elongated cigar-shaped object that is long and somewhat needle-nosed, but in grayish blue with some hints of color, like orange color from the exhaust vents. It has bits of orange exhaust and plasma exhaust coming out. So on the outside, it may look somewhat like a comet, but it's not a comet. That's just a shielding masking layer so that it's not probed too much. It is shielded and it is masked in the form of what might look somewhat like a comet on the outside, but on the inside, it's a totally different story. Project summary, remote viewing object 3I Atlas. This report analyzes multiple independent remote viewing sessions conducted on the target 3I Atlas, target 77483050 during August 2025. Six experienced remote viewers participated in blind sessions, producing an extraordinary level of convergent data. The consistency of specific technical details, sensory perceptions, higher level data across independent sessions suggests genuine anomalous activity, with feedback expected to be verified at some level during 3I Atlas's close solar approach in late October 2025. While the data is compelling, we must acknowledge that multiple outcomes are possible and the data might be skewed, exaggerated, or attributed to viewing specific aspects of the collective unconsciousness, among other things. And for full disclosure, I was not part of this remote viewing team of 3I Atlas. I was tasked by a totally different source to blindly remote view 3I Atlas. And I had no idea what the target was originally for the first target. The other two targets on it I did openly, so I had some awareness of what I was looking for in terms of the date and later on species and origins and make of 3I Atlas for full disclosure, operational disclosure. So I was tasked by somebody else to remote view this interstellar object. It was a blind remote viewing, but I wanted to cover this information as well because I think it's very valid. It's very interesting and it deserves to be highlighted. John Adams and the other remote viewers are very experienced, they're accurate, and I highly recommend people go have a look at this information, which I will provide in the link down below in the video description. So project overview, target designation 7741-3050. What is the nature of the object named 3I Atlas and its path through our solar system? Verification timeline, late October 2025, solar approach and thereafter. Project manager John Adams. Methodology, blind remote viewing sessions. Viewers, Patricia A., John Dixon, John Millard, Becca Nielsen, David Powell. Somebody called IV and Gemma Warner. Session timeframe August 2025. Number 1, physical characteristics. Primary colors, blue, white, green, reported by 5 out of 6 viewers. And that was interesting. I got in my target that the plasma trail from 3I Atlas that sort of powers it, the source is blue and green. and it emits those colors actually on the outside and the inside, so I got blue and green as well. Secondary colors red, orange, yellow, brown, black, purple, pale, opaque. Spherical circular elements consistent across all sessions. Linear geometric components reported by all viewers. Size variations from small to large proportions. It's neither very small nor too large. It's a medium-sized craft. Curved spiral patterns, vortex, vertices, universal characteristics. So back to the size variations, it's somewhere in the middle. It's like not too small, not too large. That's the impressions that I got, and it's similar to what's here. So back to the curved spiral patterns, vortex, vertices, universal characteristic. Yes, I would say so. Yeah, definitely. It has vortexes, vertices, spiral patterns. There's like ancient language that's there that I saw that's similar. So yeah, consistent across all sessions. Every viewer described a combination of biological and artificial elements. Yes, I also got biological and artificial elements, sentient AI, and biological beings. Sometimes there's crew there and sometimes there's not. So that is very accurate. Descriptions include structural in nature. It has a fuselage hull, is part biological and artificial. Yes, it is. Is an artificial asteroid having a shell or shell-like outside, slimy gel-like plasma. Yes, plasma for sure. I don't think it's an asteroid. I think it is something that's made to resemble a comet or an asteroid, but it's not that, but it looks like that. Liquid glowing, sparkling, radiating, electrical discharge, staticky, buzzing, pulsing, sonar, metallic, porcelain like, yes, metallic, I got that too. A 3D shape becoming hollow, high-tech, crowded, Venus opaque, multiple colors, discolored edges, rusted edges, a mirrored or mirroring aspect, elongated, oblong, flat, partially organic, high-tech in design, yes. Ancient, maybe encased in rock or shell, and or have tungsten-like and or metallic design, yes. May contain liquids, observational windows. There may be a spray that is generated in front and going backwards. Self-propelling with kinetic energy and advanced technologies. Yes, it is self-propelling by plasma and crystalline type technology. I'd say yes, kinetic energy and advanced technologies for sure. Number 2, motion and behavior. Lateral movement across fast, high energy, circular objects, objects that are flat and moving very fast, wants to preserve or hide itself as some kind of rock or boulder. Yeah, that's its masking, shielding, or cloaking, if you will, cloaking in the visible spectrum. It does that. Multidimensional, yes. Time relative, may be hiding until the right time to be discovered, shadowing, mirroring. There may be a spray generated in front going backwards, self-propelling with kinetic energy, moving forward, spinning motion, fast. I would say yes to those things. Number 3, advanced descriptions, interstellar in origin. It is something tracked involving communication, calculation, error, projection technology, possible beaming down energy technology, high energy, old, sickly in appearance, is an ancient encampment, extremely durable, has open ports or openings with long tubes, may contain armor, defensive, of camouflage type ability, wants to preserve or hide itself as some kind of rock or boulder, multidimensional time relative cloaking, may be hiding until the right time to be discovered, transcendental, an aperture present, portal, vortex, invisible, magnetic, shadowing, ominous, Machiavellian, transcendental, and a special anomaly. I would say it does have cloaking capabilities, and it cloaks itself to look like either a comet or an asteroid, but it's none of those things, and it is anomalous. Number 4, technical and operational elements, advanced propulsion systems. All viewers describe sophisticated movement capabilities. Yeah, it has that. Kinetic propulsion, gravity-fed, torsion-like energy, and interstellar engine. Galactic, up-down, floating, spinning, irregular movement. References to controlled energy systems. Notes on craftsmanship, experiments, something being made. Now I got, for origins of who made these crafts, I got crystalline humanoid beings and Lyrans, like as origin point in the third remote viewing. So it is energetically guided, I would say. Like that's what it was designed to do, to be autonomous. Multiple viewers describe manufactured elements. Yes, it was manufactured. Magnetic construction elements in geometric precision. It has a lot of geometry, indeed. Directed energy weapons, defensive weaponry, and control technology. It has like deflector shielding, so it's not going to shoot out any weapon specifically. It has defensive weaponry and control technology. Whatever somebody shoots at it, it just deflects that back off the craft and it reverberates back on the source of what shot at it. So it's like reflective defensive mechanisms. I don't think it's actual weaponry that shoots from it. It is more technological in that it is energetic. Energy weapons, exactly like whatever is, you know, targeted at it, it reflects back what targeted it. And that energy of whatever tries to hit it goes back to the source of what's trying to, damage it or destroy it. And as a result, that other thing might be damaged or destroyed by its own weapons because it is reflective defensive shielding weaponry in that sense. Number 5, signs of intelligence. Advanced non-human intelligence. Intelligence is noted, yes. Multiple sessions report advanced technology, communication, tracking, observation. Yes, this craft is tracking planets, and also secret missions are tracking this object. Mention of UFOs, program technology, AI. Yes, yes. Secret space program craft have been tracking this object since 2023. It's been tracked by Earth intelligence of what Earth has of secret space programs. That's still classified. There is a robotic artificial intelligence aspect which may be liquid and metallic in nature. Life forms appear to be restrained, watching, observing, uncaring, uninterested, menacing, disgusted, annoyed, and evil. When I was remote viewing this object, I didn't find any predatory beings and nothing evil, but this object has been out there in space for thousands of years. So maybe there had been biological beings on it that had some of these characteristics. I don't see it now in the present moment, but maybe in the past it did. They appear as playing with our heads, with feelings of superiority and uncaring behavior towards humans. Pre-planned activities present, and intention to control humans considered in the way. I didn't pick that up, but perhaps there's vibration of those things in that craft, of what was before, not necessarily what might be now, but I get echoes of these potentials. This craft is old. I don't think anyone that's on it right now cares that humans are in the way. They're just doing their own mission, cruising by, collecting stuff, collecting data, collecting information about planetary energy, evolution, ascension of different beings on planets, which planets are inhabited, which are not, what happened to civilizations. It's a data collection type of mission that it's on right now. Number 6, environmental context, galactic space atmosphere, facilities, underground facilities, caves, bases, wheat field-like settings with possible crop circles, undersea secret hidden ruins, subterranean portal qualities, references to interdimensional access points and vortexes. 3i Atlas, this particular interstellar object craft, it probably has these abilities to open portals or vortices and to launch crew to investigate other planets and other spaces. And this craft probably knows about facilities, underground facilities, caves, bases, planets, atmosphere, space, because it has the technology to investigate these kinds of places. That's just the interpretation I get from this data. It's not my data, but it's interesting to kind of compare and contrast on what I kind of psychically get as well. Number 7, advanced perceptions, themes, and dynamics. To these possible non-human intelligences, we are considered to be in the way. A resource like meat sacks, not important or even conscious. Instead, they are concerned with where we live, Earth. They will wait and reap the harvest. They will wait and reap the harvest. We humans volunteered in a long experiment to find a way back to who we really are. Vast untouched energy or potentials are waiting, and we are too stupid to see that. The idea was to make something they could live in and explore. So these beings might see us as below average in intelligence because we haven't ascended to the highest level that we can, and we're still evolving towards that. So perhaps there is that energy in the craft of that. Less evolved, still evolving, still on the ascension path, record the data. They're still not ready for something of a higher monumental disclosure proportion. Although I do think we're ready, I don't pick up that these beings that are on this craft, that they're going to reap us and harvest us. I don't think they're going to invade us and harvest humanity. That's not what I was picking up from this object or what intelligence is there. They're probably not going to make contact with us because we're not at that level of contact that they think they could interact with us. So they're just doing a pass by on mission collection and data information. But, different remote viewers perceive things and pick up things differently. And that's what they picked up. Let's look at intentions. Bad intent, kidnap, study in use, explore, educate, eliminate, failure, confuse, battle. They seem bored, aimless, and arrogant with the universe at their fingertips. Activities: collecting, probing, observing, monitoring, avoidance of detection to avoid life and protect life. Severe restraint is present on how we perceive them. Mind control or thought manipulation. Characteristics: frustrated, hostile, dangerous, evil, bored, looking for entertainment. Close and will not suffer fools. There is a need to mislead. There is a circle of metal inside like a river. It is the intelligence. There may be windows, a vortex or portal through which to see and travel from place to place. Now, I've never read this remote viewing that John Adams facilitated. So this information is fresh, looking at it from fresh eyes. So it's interesting. Subjects potentially involved: humanoid, alien, robotic, reptile-like, a viceroy, a reference to the Nephilim, committee and committee members, humans in mass. Emotions and behavior: starstruck, an ow, shock, fear, panic, non-compliance, a sense of attrition and fatalism, events dynamics. They are revered as false gods, masked and avoiding detection. So there is planning a timetable, scare tactics, opposing force, an entrance into a the scene, special access, a possible extraction point, repeated mention of crop circles, a multifaceted event involving advanced spherical craft, hybrid warfare, war, invisible war, and battle. Brain chemistry, chemicals, and neuroscience is noted. May attempt confusion, deception, control. May utilize mind influencing technologies and beaming. Capability of brain scanning technologies may incite mass hysteria and or hallucination. Interesting aspects. I'm not sure I would agree with all that, but again, different remote viewers pick up different things. I didn't really pick up any of that at all in the first blind remote viewing or the other two. I did pick up that secret space programs, Earth-based, are very much interested in 3i Atlas and the technology on it. And if they were to gain access to that, I'm sure they would exploit it. And some of this stuff could happen. So something about fair use and utilization of advanced technology from capturing other crafts. So that's the impression I'm picking up here. Number 7, optimal actions regarding this target. Note, understand and be with me. Turn the world to a better place through openness and good thought. It's through these actions we will understand what to do for ourselves before we are gone. There's a place for us, but there is a sickness in our minds. We are said to worship the wrong gods and have perverted their original spirit. There is using the vortex against them, but this is considered as harmless information only, perhaps as nonviolent action. Additional discussion. There appears to be an experimental protective technology used against bad types. This may have a side effect or impact on humans, presumably positive in nature. This aspect or dynamic is accessible only to some. It seems to be ongoing right now. It offers medicine, protection, and growth, even if it is not said as such. There is a depiction of needing to pull in alignment another celestial body to keep the current one intact. The two masses would somehow complement each other and allow growth and prosperity through grand design. This is somehow protective on a physical scale. There is a connection that is broken and must be fixed to get back on the desired channel. This event may be opening up of a new state of mind. This could be related to a shift in consciousness. We've all been waiting for something like the event or an ascension or something to be revealed to open up the cosmos. So it could be related to some event that is happening or about to happen. So that's interesting what came up. Statistical analysis, convergence probability assessment. Primary convergence, 6 out of 6 viewers. Hybrid organic technological nature, fast rotational spinning motion. Complex structural forms, advanced intelligence indicators, secondary convergence. Convergences, 6 out of 6 viewers. Blue coloration, energy emission patterns, circular spherical elements. Non-human consciousness themes. Underground contained facility elements. Specific convergences, 4 out of 5 out of 6 viewers. UK wheat field location, metallic river intelligence concept, gravitational manipulation, strategic guidance themes, portal interdimensional qualities, observation research facility infrastructure. Yes, 3i Atlas is an observation facility, but that could also be observation research facility infrastructure of that infrastructure from the secret space programs, the Earth-based ones that are monitoring this object and wanting to study its technology, because they've sent out triangular type crafts, satellites, and other things to study this craft in 2023. So, Earth-based governances and militaries have known what 3i Atlas truly is, and they have not disclosed what it is. And it remains to be seen what comes out from all of this in October 2025. Will it be revealed that this is artificial object and not purely organic? What is it? Who's on it? What's its mission, core purpose? Why the heck it's here? It remains to be seen if any of that is disclosed, but I think the remote viewers are doing a great job at disclosing it. Statistical assessment. The probability of achieving this level of specific technical convergence across independent viewers approaches astronomical odds, conservatively estimated at 1 in 10 slash 1 slash 18, according to analysis in AI. It ascertains a near certain probability in light of some of the strange aspects documented about the object, that the object is anomalous in nature. While this may be a great exaggeration, it illustrates the compelling nature of the information. I recently remote viewed another interstellar object called Swan R2, and it is a natural comet object, and it is totally different from 3i Atlas or Oumuamua, like totally different. It does not have any AI sentient intelligence, so no AI sentient intelligence on it, no living beings, no propulsion technology with plasma or crystalline tech. It is purely icing, off-gassing, and propelled by gas and cosmic stuff, cosmic winds. So there's a whole difference between organic comet-like asteroid objects out there and something that looks like comets and asteroids, which is mimicking it and pretending to be it, 3i Atlas and Oumuamua. So there's differences. And I've seen that by the blind remote viewing of Swan R2 compared to 3i Atlas and Oumuamua. Implications and conclusions. A genuine anomalous phenomenon. The level and convergent detail across independent sessions strongly indicates genuine remote viewing of a real complex phenomenon. Yes. B. Hybrid technology. 3i Atlas appears to represent an integration of biological and technological systems beyond current human capabilities. Yes, totally. C. Advanced intelligence. Consistent perceptual data for non-human consciousness with sophisticated communication abilities and dismissive attitudes toward human intelligence. D. Advanced infrastructure. Multiple viewers describe sophisticated observation and research facilities with controlled environments, viewing chambers, and experimental capabilities. Yes, I would say 3i Atlas has that on that craft because it is monitoring different planets, different beings, observing, collecting data, and much more, and seeding life forms at some stages in its mission work. E. Physical manifestation. Multiple environmental contexts, artificial construction, space, atmosphere, UK wheat fields, possible crop circles, underground systems, subterranean areas, observation perspectives. Verification timeline, October 2025, solar approach. The convergent remote viewing data will face empirical verification during or after 3i Atlas's predicted close solar approach. This provides an unprecedented opportunity to validate remote viewing accuracy against observable astronomical events. Yeah, that will be interesting. I don't know if any of this will be verified because the astronomical information will probably say it's a comet. Unusual anomalous comet, but nothing more, nothing less to see here. So I doubt if anything with empirical evidence can be verified through like an open disclosure timeline. I Oumuamua was never disclosed as a craft when it was. Avi Loeb has been saying, a Harvard astronomer, that this is potentially, Three Eye Atlas is potentially a craft and not just a comet or asteroid. He said the same thing about Oumuamua. He wrote a book about it too. So he is disclosing some actual facts. Maybe he's in on some, disclosure. Maybe he's in on some inside information about these interstellar objects. Perhaps he's in the know. He's not the only one, because this object is garnering a lot of attention. So we'll see what happens. Research implications. This represents one of the most comprehensive and convergent remote viewing data sets in documented research history. A combination of multiple independent viewers, blind protocols, specific technical details, consciousness interaction elements, verifiable timeline predictions. This represents a strong case study for consciousness research, anomalous studies, if verified. However, we should not act rashly or put all of our eggs in one basket. Some possible alternate outcomes for this object event include: the object is verified as a faster than normal comet with strange features. That's, I think, what scientists, astronomers are going to officially say. But that's not what it is, but that's what it mimics. And we have an anomalous object that we're not quite sure what it is, but remote viewing shows what it truly is. The object continues harmlessly past the sun, the planets, and out of our solar system, which it's going to do. Yeah, I didn't see anything harmful on this craft. It's telemetry, it's gathering data. It's looking for potential places to seed life forms on different planets. That's its number one core mission. Plus collecting data, information, energy patterns, evolution, ascension, and even uplifting other species' DNA energetically. That's something else I was picking up on. The object is somehow anomalous in nature, but nothing else happens. Yeah, it's anomalous in nature. Nothing else is going to happen unless we get a huge swath of disclosure coming out about all of these interstellar objects. One would wish and hope, there's always hope. So let's see what happens. There is a long period before any additional useful data can be obtained or verified. I think John's team already have a lot of data. And what I remote viewed, it jives with some of that data. There are overlapping informations there. So I think this is not just some ordinary comet doing a flyby. It's an intelligently guided craft that's masquerading as a comet, as a type of elementary shielding cloaking to make it appear as if it's a normal comet when it's not. So I think there's verified data already in this remote viewing of these 6 remote viewers. So let's see what recommendations are. A, continued monitoring of the object using available technology. B, additional sessions approaching the October 2025 verification date will be considered useful. C, technical analysis, detailed comparison of behavior technology with known physics. D, documentation standards, establishment of protocols for future investigations. E, verification, preparation, coordination with astronomical observation networks for October 2025 confirmation. Report prepared by John Adams, August 18th, 2025. Next, review post-verification analysis following the October 2025 solar approach, classification, research, investigative analysis. And this is the visual data that Patricia A., John Dixon had of remote viewing this object. Now, anybody can click on these images and write-ups to see them up close. In this session, I'm not going to click on them, but I'm going to leave a link in the video description to the website and these reports. So any of you can go ahead and click on these links on this website and see far bigger close-ups of these visual datas and data sets. I'm just previewing what the remote viewers had, and there's John Millard, Becca Nielsen. So they had objects, spherical objects. They had cylindrical objects here. They had what looks like different studies of different phenomenon, perhaps laboratories. They had interesting structures, buildings, obviously this craft, vortexes. So John Adams also, I think, did his own remote viewing, and this came up in it. Let's have a read here. Interestingly, I conducted a remote viewing session focused on the question, what are the Nephilim and will they return to Earth? Described in one of the 6 sessions, the Nephilim were mentioned, and the details from the session align with various ways, making it worth mentioning. Additionally, I conducted what seemed a target displacement mixed session that may be worth nothing. The original target given was on a tightrope walk. It's intriguing to compare Patricia's sketch with this one and note the similarity in the structures as well as with John Dixon's and mine, which are based on open portals, doors, and windows. So Patricia A, John Adams displacement target, John Dixon, John Adams displacement target, vortexes, portals, anomalous objects. Interesting stuff here. Additionally, I wrote, hit the high beams like traveling next to what looked like a dusty or whirling object in space. It has now been observed that the object may be both smaller than originally estimated and may also be emitting its own light like a pair of headlights. And he has an article, so anybody who wants to read that, please go ahead. And we're going to read some quotes here. 3I Atlas could be a spacecraft powered by nuclear energy, and the dust emitted from its frontal surface might be from dirt that accumulated on its surface during its interstellar travel. Avi Loeb wrote in a statement. So Avi Loeb is really interested in this, and he might know more than he's telling us. This cannot be ruled out, but requires better evidence to be viable. He added, normally comets glow because of the dust and gas around them reflecting sunlight. This light usually spreads out more evenly and doesn't dim as quickly as you move away from the comet's core. Scientists expected the brightness of 3I Atlas to follow a similar pattern, but instead drops off sharply, suggesting the light might be coming from something else entirely. I don't think it's nuclear powered. What I got from my remote viewing and what these guys got is it's likely plasma powered as a source. And I also got crystalline technology as a mixture, so plasma and crystalline based for propulsion systems. So it's very interesting. The discovery was similar to standing near a bright flashlight. The light is intense up close, but as you walk away, it fades fast. Because this object is moving, it's a craft. So it is anomalous, it is more than what it seems, and it's interesting. And there's more additional images by John Dixon of plasma, liquid, solid energy, deep, blacksmith. So it is plasma based and it's liquid like features. So there's also John Millard and Becca Nielsen. This is showing gestalts. Looks like a being with a huge eye and a person whose brain is being studied. So, a bunch of helixes and vortex information. Interesting. So, civilizations being studied, perhaps manipulated. energy, doorways, satellites observing things. But again, anybody can click on the images and get closer looks at this. It seems like an array system or something. So if you go here, like you can click on this and see the bigger images and read this information. So let's look at this, what John wrote here. Predicted path of 3i Atlas through our solar system. The near approaches timeline predicted for this object is as follows. Mars, October 3rd, 2025, at a distance of 0.1936 AU or 28.962 million kilometers, 17.996 million miles. This close approach might allow spacecraft orbiting Mars to study the comet. Sun, perihelion, October 29, 2025, at a distance of 1.3564 AU or 202.91 million kilometers, 126.085 million miles. This point marks the comet's closest approach to the Sun. Venus, November 3rd, 2025, at a distance of 0.6494 AU or 97.15 million kilometers, 60.366 million miles. Earth, December 19th, 2025, at a distance of 1.797 AU or 268.83 million kilometers. 167.042 million miles. While considered close approach in astronomical terms, this distance is significantly greater than the Earth-Sun distance, 1 AU, and poses no threat as a comet. I don't think this thing poses any threat to Earth on any level. I just don't have that feeling through the remote viewing and through my psychic senses. It's just a craft on its mission, sometimes with a crew, sometimes without a crew, seeding life forms or investigating planets, assisting with ascension, evolution, or monitoring it. So I didn't get any hostility from this craft at this time through remote viewing. Jupiter, March 16, 2026, at a distance of 0.359 astronomical units AU, equivalent to 53.71 million kilometers, 33.37 million miles. There is a proposal to use NASA's Juno spacecraft to rendezvous with the comet during this encounter. Yes, that is Avi Loeb's proposal to NASA. So let's see what the conclusion is. In summary, we should refrain from drawing quick conclusions about this data. It is important to keep observing, monitoring, and staying informed, followed by verification later on. If there is indeed something to confirm, it might result in fascinating outcomes, but we cannot be sure at this point. It's possible that the object could continue its journey beyond our solar system, similar to Ileana Ka. I think it will, and that's what it's doing. So John provides some links to stuff about 3i Atlas, the project, and gives updates with some reports. So that's interesting information that's here. And David Powell has a whiteboard remote viewing of 3i Atlas that he did for John Adams. So I think it's important that people watch David Powell's remote viewing on 3i Atlas. It's pretty interesting, and this is David's paperwork session on 3i Atlas. I'll provide links to all of this, plus my own remote viewings of 3i Atlas and what I had. And this is some very interesting information. I think it's very great that all of these remote viewers did this project. And I'm very thankful that I was assigned a blind remote viewing of 3i Atlas as well. Some interesting information came out from those remote viewings and the more open target sessions that I did as follow-ups, because I had questions about date verification and some other things on this interstellar object. So all links will be provided in the video description down below. Thank you, John Adams, and thank you all the remote viewers who did this particular project, and for John putting this together in a very concise report for anybody to access, read, and study. Much appreciated and great work. I think this is some interesting data that deserves follow-ups and for this to be studied and further looked into by other remote viewers to see if anybody comes up with anything else about 3i Atlas. Thank you so much.